And we're here. Hopefully everyone can hear us or me.
Hello.
And we're here. Of course, you could hear that twice because I was watching my own test Twitch stream, of course. Okay, so I know that you can hear me. And can you hear Kari well? Can you hear Kari all right?
Can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
Okay, great. Perfect. Hey, got it right. Welcome, everyone. Yay. It is the Dungeon Cooldown. I am your host, Ron Ogden. With me today is the wonderful Kari Lee Cartwright.
Hello.
Hey, Kari. How you doing?
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here as well. Like I said it to you earlier, but I'll say it again. I love that lime green sweater.
Oh, thank you.
It's very nice. It's very, very comforting to you, or complimentary to you. There it is. It's a Cristobal choice, as I might say. So
I should let him borrow it.
Absolutely, you should. Cristobal would look stellar in a lime sweater. That's for sure. Welcome, everyone. This is where we talk about what happened on the last episode of the Dungeon Run. Last Wednesday, we had an interesting set of interactions with Kari's character, Coco, and Jared's character, Boots, as well as Cristobal being thrown in the mix halfway there. So before we begin, I do want to say thank you to our Patreon. Patreon.com/the Dungeon Run. This show is not, and the bigger show, and all of our shows are not possible without the interaction and donations of you. So thank you very much for joining us. And if you're seeing this, please think about joining us on Patreon.com/the Dungeon Run. We also, I want to talk about this a little bit. We introduced a new sponsor to the show last week, Eldritch Foundry. I'm super excited about that. I've already started creating characters and printing them. I'm going to be posting one here in a couple of days that I'm really excited about. It's literally a character riding an armored arachnid mount. So, you should definitely check out Eldritch Foundry. We've got right there in our Nightbot. Thank you, Nightbot. Right there, if you'd like to sign up and check it out. They've got a whole bunch of. They're doing a new thing called #my monthly mini. You should check it out on Instagram if you like Instagram and see what they're doing. You could get a $5 gift card to get an STL, and that would mean your STL would be free. So check it out.
Wait, what's an STL?
An STL is how people print at home. It is the 3D model that you would feed into. It's how I print anything from Eldritch Foundry. I get an STL. I use a program on my computer to then basically turn that into something to print, and that's how I print it. Kari,
what does that stand for?
STL? Oh, stereo.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, put me on a spot. Stereo technical lithograph. Maybe I'm off the top of my head. It's just the .stl is the file name, the ending file type.
Gotcha.
That is used for those kind of things. So, printing at home. If you know a printer, for our characters that we've used on the show, I get STLs and I print them here at the house. So. And then you could paint them too. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Stereolithography. Thank you, the Bulb Dim. Appreciate that. Knew somebody would get me with that.
What was it?
Stereolithography. Or
wow.
This is a stereolithograph, which is just the way that they deliver those particular files to us in order to translate to the machine on how to print it. Anyway, all of that to say, #my monthly mini. Check it out. They doing a lot of great stuff over there, Eldritch Foundry. So that being said, Kari, I want to know generally how you felt. We talked a little bit on the short rest, but I want to know now that I've got you here with just me, how did you feel about last episode?
I felt really good about last episode. I had such a good time, you guys. Like. I mean, I hope that you could feel it at home, but I was just like, holy cow, Jared is so good. And it was just like the most amazing exchange that we were having. And then you throw Cristobal in there, you throw Adam in there, and it's just like amazing. And it was such a different vibe than our shows usually are. And I don't know. I think I was nervous before we started because I was like, oh no, is this going to be like, oh, what's going to happen? But then as soon as we sit at the table and we go, I mean, it's just so easy to play with those guys. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was really nice to just like really sit with Coco for a
Yeah.
little bit, like longer. I don't know,
Yeah.
in some kind of weird way, you know?
Well, especially where you had a little bit of time, right? You lucked out and got a little bit of time to sort of just live in Coco for a little bit and interact with someone new, and that was a lot of fun, I think, to see. What did you think about the reveal during the show that Failshin is also the king of the unseeley court?
I mean, as you guys know, Coco is not a huge fan of Failshin, so I mean, it was. I don't actually. I have to go back and watch that scene, but I feel like in the moment, like I was just like, of course he is, just like like
right, of course.
Yeah, of course he is. Golly, he's the worst. Failshin's the
yeah.
worst.
Well, is he? Why is he the worst? I'm curious. I love this. Look at him from other perspectives. But why is he the worst?
I think Coco's decided they're the worst because it was one of the very first and most untrustworthy people they'd come across. It in some ways, I think it reminded Coco of Queen Mab.
Oh yeah.
Which was just like, ugh. Like, you aren't saying the truth, and also it's all about deals with them, and then it just, I think, made me not want to make any deals because I was like,
friendship that comes with a cost is definitely something that makes you quick to not trust, right? Super quick to not trust someone.
It's
who goes
like
we can be friends, but
friendship.
Yeah. Is it friendship even?
I don't
at that point,
so.
I don't think so either.
I wonder how was our audience feeling about that? Were they? I mean, had they known that? They didn't know that.
There has been some information out there that's been, especially if they watch the Broken Ring, there has been some, sprinkles of that, but this was full on revelation, especially to Coco. And that is the super, I think, part that I just wanted to see the reaction and how that played and went down. I got goosebumps in the moment. Definitely had goosebumps in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me open up our Discord.
Candy box. Oh. I was hoping it was a candy box.
Oh yeah, let me open the candy box. I thought that was I totally thought that was somebody's name in chat.
No.
Candy box. Oh, good old candy box. They're here all the time. Where's my Discord? Yeah. This is the problem with having a phone with so many apps on it. You lose track of them. All right,
it's purple.
Yeah, and I have to use my phone for this because I have to close Discord while we're recording. Otherwise, everybody will get the beeps that I get in Discord, and that'll just be annoying. And if you've watched before, you'll notice that the headset stuff is gone too, so that's all good. Okay, we had a question from Cortec Blue had a question. Now, I won't go into the details of all this question, but there was some confusion, as often there is when you split up and do sort of time jumps back and forth. But there was some confusion about Lucky and what happened when. I'm going to have, just so you know, I'm not ignoring the question. I've seen it. I have some notes I'm going to type in there just to clarify what everything and what order happened, so that and the reason I'm treating it this way is because I think Cortec Blue has figured out something that maybe the cast has not yet, and I want them to. So I'll be putting it in the no cast secret room is what I'm saying.
He's trying to say he's not going to talk about it here.
Right.
He will
but
talk about it
I will talk about it in the no cast secret room. Thank you very much. Yes. Absolutely.
What was the question exactly? What was
So there's a question about when you, so I'll say it into this way. You talk to Lucky And Lucky sees that you're with a red cap and tells you that the party has gone to the docks.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how the party would remember it. When they heard that there's something that went down. They talked to Lucky. Lucky told them that you weren't there. But when it happened and what was said, there's some clarity there. So there needs to be some clarity. And that's where I'm going to offer it in the no-cast secret room. You have the information. You both each have the information. Both groups have so it's not going to be revealed until you get together. That's kind of what I was... yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sure you'll drill down on it when you finally get back together. But Cortec Blue, because he's been watching, they have been watching. They might have picked up on something before you guys were able to.
Ooh.
So
just whisper it to me, Cortec.
Oh, yeah, just whisper. It's fine. It'll be fine.
Nobody else is listening.
No one else is listening. Let me see if we've got any Patreon questions. And we can start taking questions in chat as well if anybody has any. We're here. If not, then we can just talk about. So I wonder what Coco thinks about her interaction with Boots. Would she call that positive, negative? I'm curious.
I think it was positive.
Yeah.
It almost in some weird way felt like a little healing. After the show was over, I was like, well, that was definitely the best interaction Coco's ever had with a red cap. And I kind of thought, oh, that's so interesting. Like I immediately, because when the red cap comes around, Coco's in a vulnerable state already, has been like crying in the rain, and is just confused and doesn't know what to do. And so meeting them, it's strange that I didn't feel like I needed to be on guard. Like they weren't angry. They didn't have like that energy that a lot of red caps seem to have so far.
I would. Yeah. And the limited experience you have with red caps for sure. This one seemed a little bit still that aggressive nature. I think, still that like, there is a little bit of an edge to them, but mostly just in the way they present themselves, not on like, this thing might kill me right now. Like other red caps have been. For sure. I love that interaction. It was especially like watching Jared had a goal. I gave him a goal. We came up with a goal together, in that whole interaction. And just to watch him sort of go at it, but keep it in the viewpoint of Boots was very fun and a unique perspective that I really enjoyed just watching. I forgot a couple of times that I was there and like needed to move things along.
I want to know what the goal was.
The goal. I mean, I think the goal. I think Coco, he was pretty explicit about the overall goal.
Oh, sure. Yes. Yeah. The worms. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But there were some other goals there that we had discussed that I think were really fun that
become best friends with Coco.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Plant the darn worms, says Daria.
Yeah. I mean, but would you guys plant all the worms? Like, it's a little sketch, no? Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, it's all sorts of sketch, right? I think even Boots sort of named it. Even Boots was like, there are gods messing around. His words were more echoing what was happening in his world, but also just happened to fit the world that you're in. Is there's gods messing around, and who are the gods, and what are they doing, and why is this stuff happening? Yeah. So it's there's clearly a choice point sort of being presented to the group. Do they trust Failshin, or do they plant the worm? Or does Coco plant the worm? Do they, what is going on? And it seems like they're supposed to be here and no one knows, but it seems like things have been prepared for slightly. Right?
Yikes.
Yeah. Clearly
somebody was
because
expecting company.
yeah, well, I mean, look
Yeah.
what happened with you and Boots, right? Like there's clearly Mab has some, if she can send Boots, because Boots said to you that he came from a different place and she's trapped, but if she can send Boots, that means she's not too far from sending herself, right?
Well, it did make
Clearly.
me wonder. I remembered thinking, like, why didn't she just send herself then? Like, why does she need this third worm or whatever to be planted? I'm like, just send yourself.
Very
Like,
good question. Very
yeah,
good question. I
you
mean,
know.
it's also been, the Astral Dragon has talked to you about, especially said that once you were sent back to the material plane, to the timeline, that they wouldn't be able to communicate with you, right? They wouldn't, like, they got to be a little bit more hands off on specific things that are happening there, and you got a sense that was sort of rules
That's
as
true.
is. So
Yeah.
but with the storms gone, already things are changing, right?
I'm really excited to play with the whole group tomorrow. It's been a minute since we were all together.
Yeah.
So
It has been. Yeah. That's the craziness of shooting a live show, like especially around the winter time with holidays and especially with sickness. There it is. Yeah. I was going to say illness or sickness, and it came out ickness or sillness, which are neither things.
It's ickness for sure. Yeah, I had COVID for 2 weeks, so I couldn't come to the show. Yeah. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, the bulb dim. I have never read Jim Butcher's books, and so don't know there. I've heard a couple people talk about Queen Mab in that world. Queen Mab, and as far as like Queen Mab is usually like a Shakespeare reference, right? It's really sort of a Shakespeare reference. I think mostly from where it was created, because that was sort of a Jared suggestion very early on, the Queen Mab situation, or having Queen Mab be a central character. Very early decisions. So, yeah, I've never read any of Butcher's books, but I've heard a lot about that. Apparently, that Queen Mab is a character. Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, Queen Mab's a character, all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And one that you even acknowledged privately to me later on, or maybe in the short rest. You acknowledged that it was different for you because Queen Mab did not present herself the same way that you had sort of seen her in the past, with her hair changing colors and her skin. She was this floating figure that you didn't right away tie your identity to, because it was very like loose. So it was there's some interesting, especially the visions. What did you think of the visions?
Refresh my memory.
Yeah, so you're it's very dark, right? You're under a tree. That tree is where you end up waking up with Boots in that sort of grown flower garden. But you sort of you hear them talking early on. And
oh, that's right.
Yeah. And gasoline and ickness. The tensioner just reminded me of the whole gasoline bit.
Oh my gosh. I was like, what do they run on?
Yeah, what do they run on? Yeah. Gasoline certainly is probably something a machine would run on, but probably oil is how we'll use it here for sure.
Sure, yeah.
But I got to poke a little fun at you, which is fun.
Yeah.
It'll make for good social media content, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, what did I think of that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really latch on. I didn't know what it was. So you know how it's just like sometimes hard to really grasp something because you're like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what's happening exactly. And so it's almost hard to hold on to the information because it means nothing. It has like no value almost.
Sure.
If I don't know, you know,
in the moment, you're right. Coco doesn't really know a whole lot, right? Doesn't really remember a whole lot from her past. So absolutely, if the machine, and that even is a sort of a Coco thing, where this information, and really that information you heard, but isn't really for you, right? That information was for our watchers at home, their little sneak peek into what was happening with Coco.
It's funny. I definitely did think, I think I thought that at some point where I was like, well, this wasn't meant for me to hear, because it's not the coolest to like eavesdrop.
I love that. Coco's like, I don't want to eavesdrop. I'll just
like, if you want me to know, you can come tell me.
Somebody said something, but I'm just trying to figure out what this floating figure is and where I'm at. And where is Slushy? Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got to sort of,
I loved that.
I got to sort of, use Slushy. We've already identified that Slushy, also who comes from the Watchers, is smarter than the average wolf. And you got to use that mechanic a little bit, like as a way to sort of pull the story forward. So that was a lot of fun. It's always fun playing Slushy for you.
Yeah, I love Slushy.
Yeah.
So much happened. So much happened, I feel like, in that episode.
Well, and sometimes the episodes feel like that, but then you go back and like there was a lot of scene work, right? So much happened in the scene work. But if you look at the actions of what actually went down, not a whole lot did.
Yeah.
But that's the interesting part about these sort of, I find in actual play, especially with, talented actors like you guys, which is I can just let you do whatever, and then I just sort of have to figure out how to connect those scenes together, and just keep putting up scenes for you guys is sort of my function, or has become my function.
I will say it was really interesting. I think I might have mentioned this in the short rest, but navigating, like, I kept thinking like, well, I should go find the others. And of course this was probably thinking that before I had realized that they just left Coco there. But just like that whole idea, I just kept wanting to say that, and I was like, nope, they're not here today, Kari. You can't say that, because then the show will be over, and then what? Like, that's not, just play here.
Well, certainly, but I had contingency plans for either of those. We do so much improvisation. I can't, otherwise I'm just telling you what to do, right? Like, I'm just trying to let you do what you want to do and ask the questions that you want to ask, and then sort of, again, fill in those spots. So I had you have to be, as a DM, you have to have contingencies. And this actually speaks a little bit to what I think Cortec Blue was asking about in the Discord. There are things that I have to sort of plan for. Like, I have to plan for if you want to go talk to your friends. That has to be a plan, right? I've got to figure out why, and once you get there, because my friends are not there, I've got to figure out what that person's going to say to you when your friends are not there. So that means you have to cover for a lot of contingencies. And I think there's a little bit of what I had to cover for contingency, especially with time, like, because I have to, there were 3 other individuals who were all together at once with somebody that was having a conversation in the previous episode. Whereas your episode, I had to get 3 people together over a period of time. And so they got to do a lot more than you did. And that would feel like they're further along than they are. But when this is sort of the hard to really nail when you do these sorts of episodes where you have to go back and, okay, what happened to Coco while she was gone?
Was Lucky planned for us to go back to the house?
It was not originally planned for me for that. It was planned in that I know they may go there, so I need to have some information, but I didn't think you would go to Lucky right away. I didn't think that you would go to your friends at all. I thought that you would probably go with Boots to go look for a place of power. That's what I thought.
But he turned into blood.
Well, that was afterwards, right? That was definitely afterwards. But your first conversation, right? Your first conversation was more about you and Boots. So I thought from that conversation you would go look for the place of power and then come back to tell your friends. that's kind of what I thought would happen. That was sort of what I
interesting.
thought would happen. I didn't tell Jared what I thought would happen. Jared didn't know anything beyond that he needed to look for the place of power. That was his goal, was to get you to look for the place of power, which he got. You were going to do that, but you were like, but I want to check in with my friends first, which was what I didn't account for. I thought you would, because of the previous, like, oh, they've been sort of isolating me and I don't know if I can trust Yuri. Maybe you would go by yourself. But I had the plan for if you went to go see Lucky and when you went to go see it. So, yeah, which actually the fact that you went to go, they'll find out, the watchers did, but you'll find out, I'm sure, that when you went to go back to Lucky, sort of actually pulls back a little bit of a curtain.
Oh.
Yeah, because what happened with Lucky and what Lucky says to them won't match up. And you'll see that because I'm sure you're going to, you already told Cristobal, and Cristobal says to you, well, we thought you wanted to have your own, some free time. Like you were in the woods and you wanted some free time. So that conversation will come up next episode. Absolutely know that it will. About all of that. And that's, again, sort of tied up to what Cortec Blue was asking in the Discord about that particular situation and Lucky specifically. So, but this is when you play as a DM, you have to have these sorts of contingencies and think about not even like planning them out, because you can't plan everything, but you have to have at least considered it before it happens, so that if it does happen, your brain can sort of go back to what you had thought about and planned. So if that contingency, and as Daria says, a DM, it's a contingency after contingency after contingency. And then when you split groups, that increases the complexity. And then you split time, and that increases the even more complexity. So it's a lot to like track and do to, accommodate what we don't have any control over, which is, the holidays and icknesses, as we talked about earlier. Trying to make sure that all works.
well, though.
I appreciate that. I'm clearly working very hard at all of this to do it. But I appreciate the compliment. That's that makes me feel good that you feel in safe space and can do what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to get all of the worries off of you guys and only what you want to take in. And again, get you to, it's now time to do scene work. So thank you, the tension. I really appreciate that. I know I've been I think I still got some outstanding information for you, the tension. I know I've been reading some of your tweets, and I know that you don't like me, but also very much like me right now. So I appreciate that. Tension's like, I love this stuff that you're doing, but what are you doing? What are you doing to me? Thank you guys. I appreciate that. So you're in the sewer now, right? So Kari.
Gross.
What so are you gonna go to a place of power, huh?
Well, I mean, yes.
I mean, you don't have to.
I think I'm gonna look for it, but I don't think that it's down in the sewer.
I mean, you've been told it is, right?
Wait, who did,
or at least given you, or like gave you some indication? Well, he said in the center of the city. It could be in the sewer.
But you're saying that like going through the sewer. I think we're going through the sewers to get to the center of the city. Yes. Yeah,
there was some indication that it wasn't
finding it like in the sewer.
Right.
But you never know.
Yeah, you never know. There were you're not anticipating it there. I mean, I think some of that is Cristobal has realized that if there's the closest one that he knows about would be outside the city, and if this Boots guy's telling me it's in the city, then where is it? So, I think you can sort of draw a good conclusion that it's probably in the sewer.
Well, also, like, how will we know?
That's a good question. Coco has no idea how we know. Well, I mean, you probably know. You've had experience with worms before, and when they get close to circles of power.
Yeah, that's true. The ley lines and all that. Like, oh boy.
Yeah, Daria says, when the worm tinks against the jar, it probably wants out to be planted.
Fine, Daria, I'll plant it.
Hey,
Kari
you
will
do what
plant it.
Coco wants to do.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, let Coco be the decider of what that is, because we all want you to plan it, but also you have a very good point, which is, well, what happens when I do that?
Yeah.
Because
I don't know that Coco wants to.
yeah. Well, and Boots, Boots was sort of, his response probably was more zealot than it was like revealing, right? Like, no, if you plan it, Queen Mab, she gonna be your friend. Like, she gonna be your friend. Like, yeah, but you were like, yeah, but what does that mean though?
Yeah.
But could you give me details?
Yeah.
Which I think is a good contrast with Failshin, right? Failshin, though sometimes he sneaks things into a contract, he at least tells you what you get for the thing that you're buying. And you get that.
Yeah, but it usually kind of sucks.
It has contingencies to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get the thing that you asked for.
In a roundabout way. I don't know.
It's just too...
I know. Coco does not a fan of that Failshin.
2 birds, 1 scone, right? 2 birds, 1 scone. Like, what is...
2 birds, 1 scone?
Yeah, instead of 2 birds, 1 stone.
What's the
like,
scone?
The scone isn't just you've heard the 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I'm just not being violent about it. I'm using a scone. It's the same metaphor. It's the same metaphor, but instead of killing them with a stone, you've attracted them with a scone.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I literally was shuffling through my brain going like, is this a D&D thing? Like, are scones a thing? I'm like,
yeah.
Scones.
Yeah. I had a conversation, I think it was Katie a long time ago during a cooldown about this. About like, 2 birds, 1 stone is a very violent colloquialism. Mm-hmm. It's a very violent colloquialism.
Yeah.
And I was like,
go away.
Yeah. And like, what can, right. Well, but I like that metaphor. It's a good metaphor, like in general, so I think 2 birds, 1 scone is that same metaphor, at least to me, because you're still getting the 2 birds, but you attract flies better with sugar than honey. Yeah. Colloquialisms. They help me. Metaphors do too. I'm a metaphor guy. Blueberry muffins doesn't rhyme with stone.
Did somebody suggest that?
I do love blueberry muffins though. Yeah, Bulb Dim says I prefer blueberry muffins, but hey-o.
Yeah, they are softer and less dry than
for
scones.
Sure. Yeah. But see, here's the thing. Good scones, freshly made, are not super dry.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, scones are bread blobs, you guys.
Yeah, it's all bread blobs. It's all bread blobs. Just varying amounts of bread and a varying amounts of blob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a scone is probably 80-20, where a muffin's probably 60-40.
Sure.
But yes. So, so you prefer muffins over scones? Clearly. Oh, guys, I had a Pop-Tart recently that Kari introduced me to. I kid you not, artisanal Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. So for my birthday party that I just threw myself, I had a bunch of friends over and I had put in a special order from this amazing baker. She also does vegan bakes and stuff, but her name is Mija Bakes. Or her company's name is Mija Bakes, MIJA Bakes, on Instagram, and she does these amazing things. You guys can go see what they look like. I asked for mini Pop-Tarts and gave her like a mood board, and she like kind of like drew pictures like based on my mood board, and I love those Pop-Tarts.
They were so good. Oh, we just got rated by everyone's lovely and favorite Josephine. Thank you, Josephine. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for rating, Josephine. Hello, everyone. We were just having some fun talking about scones versus muffins, Josephine. Do you feel strongly about this, scones versus muffins?
I mean, Josephine, I'm gonna guess scones.
I'm gonna guess, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I've never actually asked them that question.
Well,
so I'm
scones
curious.
go pretty well with tea. So.
Yeah, okay, 100%
Yeah.
scones for sure.
Yeah.
Safe bet. We're on the same level there. I like a good muffin, but I prefer a fantastic scone for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, we were talking about that, and we were talking about some stuff that happened to Coco. Here's the thing that we can talk about because it happened to both sides. What about and what is that thing that came out of the sky and knocked down a tower? Go. What is it? I want to hear your thoughts, your theories.
Are you asking the audience?
Everybody. I'm asking you.
Oh.
I'm asking audience. I'm asking everyone.
Oh God, what's wrong with my memory? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember.
Big fireball in the sky descends, streaks across the sky,
and
causes
takes
everybody
out
to
some of the towers.
Yeah, and cause a couple of you go to death and bleed from the ears. Yeah. It was a force of light in episode 4. Definitely a force of light, but there's even with a force of light, there's still it has to be related to what's going on in the world. So I'm curious. Yeah, Josephine says I have truly no idea. Fire dude, something.
Aliens.
Aliens. You just got to grease up your hair and put some books behind you and go aliens.
Sure.
Absolutely. I think it's whatever is messing with Otto. Fire dude, something. Yes.
Oh. Wait, someone's messing with Otto?
That's what Josephine just said. Josephine says, I think it's whatever's messing with Otto. Yeah, Otto has that burn on their wing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know if that meant while I was gone that maybe.
Yeah, there was. I mean, there was some stuff. There was some stuff that happened. Yeah. There were some things that happened.
Okay.
But specifically, Otto has been dreaming about that kind of stuff and talked to you guys a little bit about Fire Dude.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks.
More no thanks. There's nobody we can trust or love except Slushy. Yes, Josephine, we were just talking about that. Cannot wait to be back at the table together.
Yeah, excited to be with you guys all in one space together.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be amazing and probably a little chaotic.
Always. It's always a little chaotic, but we have a good time and we get, again, it's great scene work. Fantastic scene work. And I love this as much as it feels contentious. I and rightly so, because the characters are a little contentious, but this back and forth between Coco and Rillian is I just want to sit back and eat popcorn, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, who knows where that's gonna go,
where that's gonna land and lie, huh? Yeah. Well, I think some people did put together, especially in there, that and got some hints that the meteor definitely felt divine in some way, as well as arcane. So that's at least that's a line of investigation that you can work on, which will be super interesting. But then you're all also in the sewer, so it's kind of gross down there, huh? Yeah, got all those clothes messed up and dirty. Oh, did you? Have you seen any of the like today's Instagram post for the show? No, I've been playing a little bit with. I do the captions, the little animated captions that we started using. I've been practicing using as a way to practice my editing and After Effects work, and I've added some cute little animations to the one that we posted today, just because I want it as a test to see how it worked, how it looked, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
Did it have something to do with Val's clothes?
It had something to do with Cristobal and the clothes of the sewer. They got, because they went in the sewer with all those fancy clothes. Again, weren't there for that.
Fancy.
They were fancy.
They were expensive, but were they cool. I don't know.
They were, the way I think I put it was they were Gucci. They
Yeah.
were Gucci. Yeah.
I mean, I think that Coco sort of pictured it's sort of like for anybody who lives in LA, like it's like going to Rodeo Drive and there's like a $10,000 dress, but it's like the most hideous thing you've ever seen. Like all this, just hideous. That's what I picture Val's closet.
Have you ever watched Project Runway?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So Heather introduced me to this show, the latest season of the show, which I guess was in 2019.
I think so, yeah.
There's some stuff that happens in high fashion that is clearly not for me because I don't get it.
Oh. Well, maybe
like,
we can talk about what that means.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I don't get it. It's just I wouldn't wear it, right? Like I would love to watch it and love to see the work that goes into it and the imagination and art of the people. But and I recognize it as art, as an art, but it's tied to money, and that part of me is the part that maybe some of it is that I don't have enough money to.
You mean like you can buy the designer's look?
Right?
Is that
like
what you mean?
Super high end fashion, right? Where like if you buy it, it's going to be very expensive to own.
Oh,
yeah.
A lot of the things that they sell like on there, which I kind of enjoy. I know not everybody enjoys that pop-up where you can like, you know, it's sold in the Project Runway store or whatever. I kind of appreciate, and I really just hope that the designer gets some of that money. Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely.
That's it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's tied to Cristobal. Cristobal has this same sort of fashion thing, and I think it's interesting that it's tied to, clearly Cristobal came from a very affluent family, and so it's interesting to me to experience seeing art that I couldn't afford, and what what is considered good versus not, or considered the better. It's not good versus bad. I think the better word is I even lack the vocabulary to understand the differences between high fashion. That's what I noticed. I'm watching Project Runway, and I was fascinated.
There's clothing, and then there's fashion. Yeah.
Right. That part I get, but I meant like like what's the look? What's the bar? What is the there seems to be all these buckets of information of like, oh, this is really modern. This is really flowy, and these words, but I don't even have the vocabulary to talk about it. That's why I think it's fascinating to me, is because I know so little about it, and it's a new avenue, but I'm trying not to get wrapped up into it because I'm like, I want to talk about high fashion all the time.
But just think about all those designers in high fashion, and they don't know how to talk about D&D.
That's true.
There's so much. They're probably like, what? Oh,
true.
Wait, sorry, I'm just talking about me.
No, I true story. This happened to me recently. Someone on Facebook, I don't even know how, I was like friends of a friend or something like that from, earlier on in my life. Someone saw that I was in D&D and they called it satanic.
Oh my gosh. What is this? Was that the 80s?
The Bible Belt. Yeah. Satanic Panic. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's what it was. It's because I grew up in the Bible Belt, and I'm sure Facebook was early, right? When I was in college, so it first came out. So I'm sure someone of a friend that had been hiding a long time on Facebook all of a sudden was like, you worship Satan. And I'm like, that's not even.
Hopefully they meant it in like a
Oh no,
way.
They did not. It was very, very unfortunate.
Okay.
That was a quick no thanks.
And then you reply, you do.
Yeah.
No.
You
do.
Yeah.
No touchbacks.
Wild. Yeah, absolutely wild. But that, just fascinating things that still occur to this day. So yeah. Cristobal and his fashion, some stuff went down in the other episodes that I'm sure that they will tell you all about, with fashion and his their new clothes. I'm sure I can't wait to see Cristobal react to that, because he didn't get to see it until he won't get until they meet up. But
it's gonna be fun.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, we're getting close to being done here. Let me check the Discord one more time, see if there's any more questions. If any questions in the audience there, also welcome to ask. We will answer them. Let's see. Daria has got so many. Daria, not Daria. I always butcher that. I'm so sorry. Daria, not Daria, has some red strings. I wonder if they have a wall where they're trying to map out stuff. And part of me really wants to be like, that's close, that's wrong, that's right, but I gotta resist it. So Daria, not Daria. Thank you so much. I don't know, is that right? I think they're in here, or they were in here. They may have gone on. We're almost ending here, so they may have left early. But I think it's Daria because it's Daria twice, but the first Daria is 2 eyes. So I read that as Daria, not Daria.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys will let us know.
Yeah, they'll let us know. They have some interesting red string theories that I like, and I'm curious to see by the end of this chapter how that will change, and what I like to see when people get things right. And I love to see when they, like, you always have that ones where you're like, well, that was a better decision than I made. Wow. It's like they come up with a theory and they're like, it's this thing. And you're like,
I'm going to take that.
No, I never take that. If they get it right, they get it right. But I always do because it's their creative input, right? Like, I'm not trying to take their creative input. But I do like when they sort of pick their own things and go, I think it's this. And I go, that's really good too. Like, that's a good one too. I love seeing that. Oh, they are here. Both pronounce Daria like the MTV character, but I'm really Daria with 2 eyes and not the MTV character. I got it. Okay, so it's still Daria. So it's Daria, not Daria. Lovely. Thank you so much for being so intrigued by this story and watching us consistently. We really appreciate it. It's very humbling, and I'm glad we're providing you some entertainment. Always good to see that. Stir the pot. Oh, Daria's stirring the pot with their red strings is what she said, or what they said. All right. Well, we're getting close to being done, and I know, Kari, you've got places to be. So, thank you so much for joining me, Kari. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Thanks
absolutely.
for being
Anytime.
here, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you like this, or if you love our short rests, or you want to have your name read out at the end of the episode of a regular episode in an improvised format, check out all the tiers that we have over at patreon.com/the dungeon run. I hear we also have a free tier now. So you might want to check that out. I guess Patreon has started offering free tiers, so you should check that out as well. And thank you again, everyone. Without Patreon supporters and those who donate advantages, disadvantages, glimpses, and bursts of light and shadow, we thank you so much. Without your help, we would not be able to continue to make this show. So thank you again for your time and effort. And we'll see you on tomorrow. Oh man, it's tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow, right here at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until then, Kari, humankind, be both.
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
see you, y'all. Stick around. I'm going to find us someone to raid, and let's give them all the love. It looks like Gabe James Games is streaming, so we'll hop over there and say hello. Gabe DM'd our Fortune and Fate series, actually a couple years ago now. So love Gabe. Does a lot of stuff over there. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday, and tell Gabe we said hello. Bye.
Bye.